MicroStrategy is down 7.5% today after some unfortunate news of investors pretty much saying that they have paper hands. Now, again, I've not been a big supporter of MicroStrategy. I think it's overhyped, overvalued, and only a matter of time for it to correct itself. But I have no problem with what Michael Saylor is doing. So I'm going to talk about the good and the bad within this video. You guys let me know down in the comment section what you think. Again, I really hope that you learned something new. And if you do, please consider dropping a thumbs up and subscribing if you feel like we earned it. With that being said, I did short MicroStrategy today when it showed a lot of signs of consolidation, opened up short when we got confirmation of the break of support, and I just ran this thing down, made nearly $3,000, $2,900, but most of my money today was actually shorting Hershey's. I actually opened up this short position during my live trading session with the LPP team. I walked away with $11,300 on the day. It was a pretty heavy short, but again, a very favorable one. And if you watched my live trading, you would have seen exactly where I entered and where my plan was to take profits. For those that want to watch me trade live, feel free to click the second link in the description down below and you can join for as little as $1 a day. With that being said, what is happening with MicroStrategy? So MicroStrategy saw a pretty decent sell-off today, and it's because MicroStrategy buys more Bitcoin as funding draws scrutiny. So what's going on? Well, Michael Saylor is doing exactly what he said he would do, right? So again, like I said, I do not support MicroStrategy. I don't think that their approach is safe, but based off of what he is doing and based off of what he said he wanted to do, he is, in my opinion, doing exactly what he stated. He's being incredibly bullish and incredibly leveraged on one asset, and that's Bitcoin. He bought another $2.1 billion of Bitcoin, and the way that he got this is a combination of equity and fixed income security sales to finance the rapidly increasing acquisition draws increased scrutiny. So again, the issue with this is that he continues to be able to borrow against his investors at pretty much 0% interest. Now, the issue with this is that, well, Bitcoin is at all-time highs nearly, right? It's nearly at 100,000. And this is like the second time in a row that he buys below the average of the week. So it says MicroStrategy acquired nearly 21,000 tokens. So 21,000 Bitcoins, approximately, I think it was like $2.1 billion at an average purchase price of $98,783 per coin. This was from December 2nd to December 8th. Today's December 9th. The issue with this is that people think, or investors believe, that he is being too aggressive. That's exactly what he said he was going to be from the beginning, and he's sticking to it. But it's because of how aggressive he's being that, again, people are scrutinizing him. While it took almost 1 year for MicroStrategy to amass their first 100,000 tokens, it has only been 2 weeks for them to go from 300,000 to 400,000. So is he being more aggressive? 100%. A lot more aggressive, 100%. The concern, in my opinion, comes from this, is that, and I've said this from the beginning, MicroStrategy, in my opinion, doesn't have any secret strategy. It just buys Bitcoin. So if you've wanted to be so bullish on Bitcoin, why not just you buy the asset itself? Why invest in MicroStrategy? Well, there's hype with MicroStrategy because of Michael Saylor, him being viewed as a visionary, and just the hype that gets factored into a trendy stock. That's really all it is, because MicroStrategy was trading at 2.5 to 3.5 of what they had in assets under management. And normally that might be fair for a company that is a software company that's projected to grow, but this isn't that. This is a company that all they do is invest in Bitcoin. And the issue with this is that for now, Bitcoin's favorable price movements allow MicroStrategy to sustain a positive feedback loop. Rising MSTR stock prices enable additional funding or fundraising, because a lot of you guys know that they've been able to borrow against their investors, right? Which funds further Bitcoin purchases. Just like we've seen for the past 2 to 4 weeks, he continues to buy at like an average purchase price of 98,000 per coin, driving up Bitcoin's prices and stock value, he said. While effective during a bull market, and this is exactly what I said, this strategy's sustainability depends heavily on the Bitcoin's continuous price appreciation. What happens when Bitcoin begins to sell off? Now, this is two different conversations that I really want to have, because Michael Saylor isn't doing anything wrong. He's doing exactly what he said. He's being aggressive and focused on one thing: buying as much Bitcoin as possible, because I truly believe he is so insane but he truly believes it. He thinks Bitcoin is the future. And I kind of respect that. Do I need to agree with the price of MicroStrategy and what it currently trades at? No. I can just respect someone being obsessed with a specific area in the market and they truly do believe it's the future. I think that's fair. With that being said, I also understand where investors are scared because they're like, really, dude? You're buying more and more and more at these levels? Well, what happens if Bitcoin pulls on back? Michael Saylor is so obsessed that I don't really think he's even looking at the rearview mirror. He's just focused down the road. But being realistic, which again, when you're obsessed, you're not really realistic, you have to be aware of the downside. Again, not criticizing Michael because he is, that's why MSTR is trading the way that it is. I wouldn't say it's so much about the strategy. I would say it's much more on the visionary of Michael Saylor, kind of like Elon Musk with Tesla. That being said, now people are starting to have doubt because they're not seeing that price action in favor of Bitcoin. I know if Bitcoin skyrockets to 110, 120,000, everyone's going to call him a genius. But if Bitcoin begins to drop below 100, just like it's doing now, and drops below 90 and heads to 80 and then heads to 70, they're going to call him an absolute idiot, right? They love you when you're winning. They hate you when you fail. And all I'm saying is that if we saw a 4x return on MicroStrategy when Bitcoin was bullish, what do you think we will see when Bitcoin and if Bitcoin turns bearish in the short term? This is just, again, bringing light to the concern. All my videos have ever been is bringing awareness of the downside risk because it's something that beginners have to take into consideration. But I carry no sympathy to any actual investor for MicroStrategy who invested in Michael Saylor because that's exactly what he said he was going to be. He's putting his money where his mouth is for something, an asset that he thinks is going to be the world's currency. And I kind of respect that. I don't need to agree with him when it comes down to his price per value. He might even agree that it's overvalued, but nonetheless, he's in it for the long haul. And it just doesn't seem like his investors are as aggressive as maybe he is, which again, also doesn't surprise me. But with that being said, I wanted to bring light to where the concerns are currently at, and that's where it's at. So again, if Bitcoin continues to rise, this should help out MicroStrategy. If Bitcoin begins to fall, that should negatively impact MicroStrategy. I'm super excited to follow up. We'll definitely be trading this one tomorrow in our live trading session. And if you want to tune on in, it's the second link in the description down below, and you can join for as little as $1 a day. So whenever it is that you're ready, second link down below, and I'll see you tomorrow at Market Open for our live session. Like always, let's make sure that we end the year on a green note. Take care, team.